Hi, good people. David Taub here from nextlevelguitar.com. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. And we've been getting lots of questions here at Next Level Guitar. Excuse me. Lots of very good questions, actually, regarding the difference between a seventh chord and a major seventh chord. And there's a lot of confusion going on about that. And this is something that I really stress in my private teachings, where I teach privately in San Diego, California, because they're two entirely different chords with two entirely different sounds, and you don't want to get them mixed up, or it could get you in trouble. And we don't want you getting in trouble.
Guitar police?
Guitar police could be called. There could be, what's that called when you go stand in front of the judge? Arraignments? And
no, they're going to put you in the guitar lineup.
Put you in the guitar lineup.
Get fingered in the lineup if you're not using them properly.
You can be put in a guitar lineup.
Fingered.
You could be fingered for using the wrong chord type. Yes. Because although major and major seventh and seventh chords are all major family chords, they sound entirely different.
It's confusing though.
It is confusing, and I'm glad people are asking their questions, so keep the questions coming, because we want to make this site, that's how we made this site,
Because of you.
so fantastic and beautiful, and so many people are loving it because we got so many emails from everyone saying, hey, I'd like to see this on a site, I'd like to see this. This is what I don't see on other sites. So like, okay, let's do a site based off of all this, and voila! You asked for it, you wanted it, you emailed it, you got it! Alright, so, I digress. But anywho, let's just talk about the difference between a major chord, a major seventh chord, and a seventh chord, okay? Now, this also ties into the piece that I've done, lessons on ear training. Remember, one of the most important things that you could do as a musician, as a guitar player, in my opinion, is develop your ear. It's so important. It's going to help you so much, and you'll move ahead so much faster and further if you take the time to do that and really listen to these chords. Because instantly, I could tell the difference from a major chord and a major seventh chord just by hearing it. And after watching this, you will too. Okay? Because we're going to dial it in for you, good people! Yes! Alright, here is a C major seventh chord. Now listen to this chord carefully. You hear that chord? That chord, like all major seventh chords, are very sweet, jazzy, and dreamy sounding. Very dreamy. And that's C, but I could do it anywhere. Here's an open D major seventh. See, they all have that quality. Here's a D major seventh bar chord. E major 7 bar chord. See, here's a G major 7th I'll play in a different position. See, they'll all have that. Here's another one I'll play like this.
So if you're going to write a dark goth song, you probably wouldn't use these, correct?
Probably not. If you want to write a real dark, heavy kind of thing, maybe for a horror movie, probably not going to put major 7th chords in it because they're too sweet and dreamy. Right? Okay? Now, a major seventh chord is built off of a major chord, like a C major chord. What comes to mind when I hear major chords, people, is happy and bright. They are happy sounding chords as a family and bright. Here's a C major. Very happy. Here's an F major. G major. I'm happy! See, that's a happy progression. You might want to put that in like the end of a movie where the hero beats the villain and gets the chick or something like that. You're not going to have that dark goth Phrygian dissonant melody. You're going to have a kind of a happy, because people want to feel happy after watching that, right? And that's how music moves us as people. It invokes emotions in us because these happy and bright major chords. Major seventh, though. Now, major chord is made up of a root, a third, and a fifth. That's the first note in the major scale, the third note in the major scale, and the fifth note in the major scale in that particular key. In this instance, we're in C, so it would be made of the first note of the major scale, which is C, since we're in C, the third note of a C major scale, which would be an E, and the fifth note, which would be a G. C, E, and G gives us a major C major chord. And it's happy, like a G major, which is made up of a root, third, and fifth in the key of G. Okay, so a major seventh, we have to add another note to that chord. We have to add, guess what note? Major seventh. Seventh. Major seventh. Guess what note we're going to add? Major seventh. What note?
Seventh chord?
Could it be the seventh? It could. So we have to add the 7th note in the scale, or in this instance, we're going to add a B note. And you get that 1 note difference turns this happy, bright chord into a very sweet, jazzy, and dreamy chord. See? See, that open B string gives that dreaminess. That's a major 7th, okay? Alright? So a major 7th, and a major 7th you'll always see written out with an M-A-J-7. Has to have that M-A-J. That denotes major. C major 7th, C, M-A-J, 7. Okay? Now a 7th chord. Take C major 7th aside. Now a 7th chord where you see a letter and the number 7. That is not a major 7th. That is a 7th or dominant 7th chord. A C with a 7th is C 7th. A B with a 7th, B 7th. Not major 7th. Okay, it's confusing, but I'm going to dispel the confusion.
Well, basically what you're saying is watch for the M-A-J.
Right, the M-A-J always denotes major, especially before a chord with a 7 after it, major 7. A 7th, when you just see a letter with the number 7, and that means dominant 7th. And it's a totally different sounding chord. Okay, so we have to add a dominant 7th or a flat 7th, not the major 7th note. We take that note and flatten it, half a step, and you get a 7th chord, which is not happy sounding per se or sweet and dreamy sounding. It's more twangy, kind of a little dissonant, kind of bluesy sounding. Here is a C 7th. Now listen to this chord. Again, we're developing your ear to hear these colors of chords. Hear that twang? Little dissonant. That's a twangy chord. Very twangy, very bluesy. Yeah, that's like in the song Hey Jude. There's an A 7th in that, and a D 7th. See, there's an A 7. Hear that twang? Here's a G 7. You'll hear that. Hear that twang? That's an F note. That's not a real sweet, jazzy chord. Now listen to C major 7th. See, there's that pretty sweet. And here's a C 7th, you'll hear the twang. Hear the difference? Big difference. That's only 1 note.
Does country use that?
A lot of country uses 7th chords. A lot of blues uses the 7th chords. In a C 7th, we're playing a B flat note. In a C major 7th, it's a B natural. That 1 note takes this sweet jazzy chord and makes it a dissonant kind of twangy bluesy chord. Okay? Remember, 7th chords, that's a dominant 7th. You probably heard dominant 7th. This is a flat 7th. That's root, 3rd, 5th, like a major chord, flat 7th. That's a 7th chord. Major 7th, root, 3rd, 5th, 7th. Not a flat 7th. Sweet and jazzy.
Think of it by that. It'll be easier, I think, for people than hearing dominant 7ths.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. That's a lot easier. Think of when you hear those sweet jazzy. Major 7. That's a major. Right. That's a major sounding chord. That's a major family chord. You know, no matter where I play those major 7s, they all have that quality. As opposed to the 7ths, even if I play them in the bar chord fashion, they're going to be that. This a little bit twangy, rough around the edges, kind of bluesy. See that twang? And think of your major chords, very happy and very bright sounding. Again, this is developing your ear. So people, that is the difference between a major 7th, a 7th, and a major chord. They're all major family. They're all in that major family because it has a root, a 3rd, and a 5th. Total different sounds, and you don't want to get them confused. So there's a lot of really good questions about that, so I think that should clear everything up. So learn a bunch of major 7th chords, and learn a bunch of 7th chords, and then compare them, and you'll see the difference for yourself. And if you don't know any, no problem. Go to our website, nextlevelguitar.com, look in our video lessons in the beginner section, in the intermediate section, in the chord video section, and you'll see them all over the place. So we'll see you in the next module. Thanks for tuning in. Rock on, good people! Yeah! Play guitar!